Hi everyone, Lidthany Lestano here, the internet's funniest goddamn motherfucker. Nobody has ever made that joke before. Nobody has ever framed their uncharacteristic music review video as an Anthony Fantano parody. Just nobody's done it. Nobody's done it. It's a completely original idea. It's definitely not something that the very YouTuber that I was parodying yesterday would do. Anyway, because yesterday was a video, talking about a specific genre of music and sort of playing around with it a bit, I figured that today I would just kind of talk, about music that I'd like to recommend. Something funny happened. So for the past few months, Spotify has more and more been refusing to recommend me artists that I haven't already heard before. It's been getting worse for the past few months, and with a recent, discovery playlist, or whatever they call them, release radar, that's the big one. It's all just been artists that I'm already well aware of. Artists who, because I care about them, I'm already following them on Bandcamp and stuff, so anytime they release new music, I get an email about it, and I honestly kind of dread Bandcamp Fridays for that, because I usually get like a minimum of 50 emails all around midnight. In any case, in order to try and retrain the Spotify algorithm to give me recommendations for new music, I made a playlist of artists who, from what I can tell, have no songs with more than 100,000 listens. While again, I made that playlist to retrain the algorithm to hopefully recommend me more obscure music, it serves as a good way to gauge what music could I recommend that other people probably haven't already heard of. And so I kind of tried to make a list of a handful of releases, artists, whatever, by artists that have so few listens, and it just kind of happens that I ended up with 10 of them. That was an accident, but I guess this has kind of inadvertently become a top 10. So, I don't mean for this to seem kind of rude, but I am kind of going by quality here, starting with the stuff that is getting only a mild recommendation and building up to the big ones, okay? So we're gonna start with, and because we're dealing with these dinky little things here with the cassettes, I'll put up probably like a picture of the album artwork if I can find one, because some of these are pretty obscure releases. But if I can find one, I'll put up an image somewhere in the frame. Starting with Trying Science, Vacation for Snakes. In particular, the song These Tigers Have Too Many Teeth. It's real nice, sort of mathy, Midwest emo type stuff. It's real good for driving, like that, American Football, and like the Televape albums. It used to be, obviously Televape, not in the same genre, but like that was what was in my regular rotation around like 2018, like the cassettes I'd keep in my glove box, It's just good. It's like, it's energetic, but it's still sort of, meditative, It's not too sort of driving for driving, if you catch my drift. Drift! In any case, next up we have Bleach, Killing Time. What year was this? Does it say on here? 92. So this is like some early 90s shoegaze style in terms of its instrumentality. But it's got like female rapped vocals. It's a little unusual, but the song Shotgun is probably the one. That's the name of it, right? That's the song? Yeah. I remember things. I've got the brain in here somewhere. But yeah, that's the song that is probably the big one. If anyone knows any of their songs, that's probably the one. But it's just, it's neat. It's sort of, a little ahead of its time. and a little of its time. Uh, it's just a good time. If you like stuff like Curve, or like, if you like shoegaze, that's what it is. And that's not going to be the last time that I talk about some shoegaze here. We've got Flirting. Now, this EP here, I believe the title of it is, This Would Be Funny If It Were Happening to Anyone But Me. This EP here is nice. It's kind of, I'd describe it as like theatrical almost. But they have a really nice single, not on that EP, called Wouldn't You Like To? Sort of, it's like a 5-minute long, just sort of real plodding, droning, I don't know if twee is quite the right word, but it's that kind of nostalgic hipster romanticism kind of thing going on, But it's a nice track, it's a nice band. Give them a shot. This album is an interesting one. I think I got this for free. It was just shipped with another cassette that I ordered. I want to say it was Tape Deck Mountain. I want to say it was one of their albums. But I probably liked this more than that album. Sorry, Tape Deck Mountain, if, anyone's watching this. But yeah, I like this album more. In particular, the song "I Count My Stars" is the real sort of heavy hitter for me. But yeah, you can find this on like iTunes and stuff. I bought it digitally on there. I guess I didn't actually check on Spotify if these guys were all that popular, but I would assume not. Because pretty much the only thing I could find of that band online was a couple of live performances on YouTube. Of course, it's been a while since I looked for that, so who knows? Maybe that's not the case anymore. Either way, what is it? It's indie rock. It's sort of shoegazy. It's real sort of like distant. It has a very distant quality to it, But I would recommend looking up those live videos. They do the songs justice there. I have a piece of paper here because there's a few releases I wanted to talk about that, from what I can tell, either I just couldn't find them or there are no physical copies to get in the West, at least, because not all of these are, English releases. Well, I guess they are in English. Partly, at least. But they were not originally released in English-speaking territories. That's the point. Specifically, the one I'm talking about in that case is Deep Seeker by Lucy's Drive. It's another shoegaze album. I like shoegaze. I can't help it. Alright? It's Japanese, but most of the lyrics are in English, I believe. The way I found it was YouTube. At the time, I don't think you could purchase it digitally, and I don't think you could stream it officially either. But now, it's on everything. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's great tunes. It's like a shoegaze thing, but it's definitely got some electronic stuff. I wouldn't say it goes quite as far as like something like Sweet Trip, Like I'd say it's using dance music sort of in the same way that like My Bloody Valentine was using elements of hip-hop and jungle and stuff like that in their late 80s, early 90s stuff. The band Enola Gay, really interesting. They've only got a couple songs out, so I'm not quite sure I would pin them down on any particular genre. But, it's like rapped vocals, but I guess in general I would describe the musicianship as sort of like a post-punk kind of thing. Their first song, Birth of a Nation, Lockdown Session, I believe it's called, just has this incredible driving bass line. It has real, sort of socially conscious lyrics that, have not shaved their edges off one bit. They are not subtle. But their more recent song, Sofa Surfing, goes much, much straightforward into a clear shoegaze direction. Very, very sort of a disparate couple of songs to be this band's first two releases. I'm really, really excited to see what they do next. And then Friend Zone, spelled with a 3. It's like a hyperpop Drain Gang. It's that kind of thing. It's cute shit. That's all you need to know. It's cute shit. Listen to it. Please? Street View. Street View's the good one. Listen to that one. That's a good song. So this one's an interesting story. So this is a cassette of Gold Medal's personal record. This was 2017, I believe? Is there a year on this? No? There's also not a catalog number on this, and I could guess why, because there is a catalog number on the cassette itself. I don't know if that's coming up on the camera. If it's, I probably just ruined the focus. You know, who cares? Anyway, it's 69. It's catalog number Like Young 69. From Like Young Records, who are now defunct. And that's sort of part of the interesting story. So this is, I don't know if you can quite tell from like the shimmer on it. This is a sealed cassette because I believe only like 100 of these were printed. And I somehow ended up with 3 of them because one of them I ordered intentionally, but I think that at that time, Like Young Records, who are now defunct as of, I think, May 2018 it was, they went out of business. I think I was basically the only person ordering any of their cassettes at the point that EP came out, because on maybe like every 2 months, I'd basically order everything new that had come out from that label, and usually I'd get an extra tape or two. Seemed like they were just trying to clear their stock before they shut down. So I ended up with 3 copies of my EP of the year 2017. One of them I gave away, and this one I've tried a couple times to give it away to friends who come over, but no one has a tape player, I guess. So it'd kind of be a waste. So now we're getting to the real heavy hitters. We're getting to my albums of the year, 2019 and 2020. There are some other contenders, but they're probably stuff that most of you already know about. If you're, looking for obscure music recommendations, you probably already know about, like House of Sugar by Alex G, or like Death Metal by Panchico, which I guess is technically from the year 2000, but nobody knew about it until last year. So we'll start with my album of the year, 2019, Daisies. It's sort of in the same vein as what Gold Medal is sort of doing. And I guess I didn't go too in depth into what their sound is like, but in both cases, it's like a synth pop thing. They've got both a male and a female vocalist, and I really there's something about both of these bands, Gold Medal and Daisies, where it's just, I don't know if it's just because they're sort of going for like 80s and 90s sounds, and that's just sort of what culturally we associate with nostalgia now, but there's just something timeless about these records, especially Daisies, What Are You Waiting For? Because it's going for a wide variety of, sort of those sounds. I would say predominantly, it's sort of a dream pop, indie-tronica thing, but there's also, like, hints, there's a song, what's the name of the song? Does this have the track list on the back? The song True Absolute Fiction is it's sort of like an acid house thing, sort of like a black box, that kind of thing. It's just a really great album. Lots of different styles. They did come out with another album the same year. They just called it 2. And that one went for like a much more straightforward indie-tronica sound. And as much as I like it, and I like what I've heard of their 2020 stuff, I feel like I haven't been able to get too deep into the material that they've released since What Are You Waiting For? Just because What Are You Waiting For is a fantastic album, and I'm still sort of digesting it. And finally, Album of the Year, 2020, Jerskin Fendrix, Venturiza. I guess it's hyperpop. it definitely fits the bill. It's got, sort of like the real, just in-your-face synthesizers. It's got, sort of the messy, auto-tuned lyrics, but it's not nearly as sort of cute as a lot of hyperpop is either trying to be or sort of subverting. Like there's some hyperpop songs where like they're doing like the pitched up stuff, like they're sort of using the aesthetic of the sort of cutesy places from which some of those songs are often derived, but they're sort of being a bit darker with it. Jerskin Fendrix is very much like going for like some dark, intimate places with some of his music, and it's just great. It's just refreshing. There's like there's a weird sort of, I don't want to say weird. Weird isn't a very flattering way to put it, but there's definitely a de-emphasis of percussion in the album, in a way that sort of lets the sound design shine. And just sort of like the closing track, Oh God, that's the name of the song, but also that's my reaction to the song. It's such a stripped down composition, and yet it's so effective. Everything about the album, it is very theatrical. It is messy in a way that is just really captivating, Like, that's the thing, sort of, with a lot of, I guess people, bedroom pop is a weird thing to talk about because it means a lot of things. Does it just mean any pop-styled music that is made in someone's bedroom, or is it particularly talking about a certain style that tends to be associated with that kind of musician? But, like, a lot of it, I think, just sort of goes for this, I guess, clean, organic style. And that is not in the slightest what is happening here with Ventariza. It is openly synthetic in a way that communicates raw emotion in a way that a performed organicness couldn't. Like, I guess, like, I would very much sort of, I don't know if that comparison would be super tasteful. Like, I kind of want to compare this to certain releases that are more well-known. And while I feel like it would be high praise, I also feel like I think that it would be sort of downplaying or oversimplifying the origin points of sort of differing styles of music that sort of cover the same general emotional space. The point is, good album. Go listen to it. You better. I would say, though, I'm not sure if I would give any of these a 10 out of 10. I'd probably give Daisies, What Are You Waiting For, a 10 out of 10. Just because it's as short as it is. It's only like a half an hour long. It's real snappy, incredibly well-paced. Every song's a banger. The rest of the albums that I talked about today, I'd probably give like a 9. A 9 at best, probably. Anyway, I think that is going to be it for today. Comment, favorite, subscribe, like, or even dislike. Just show that you care in the boxes down there. But seriously, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh yeah, if you want me to ruin the magic for you, Anthony Fantano is sitting down in all of his videos, and I am sitting down right now as well. On the floor.